Today's stories include analyst predictions on Call of Duty 6 and Game Pass, Overwatch 2 is bringing back 6v6 testing, and the What Remains of Edith Finch devs tease their next game. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, October 25th, 2024. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing, Adioye Jr. Joining me is the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Bless, my dude. I've missed you. About a week away from work, and you know how I get, Bless.
I know, you're antsy at home.
I'm not
you
happy
feeling
about
good
it.
about being away, I can tell.
Did I come in on Wednesday and absolutely disappoint? Yes, I did. So I apologize to Camouflage and Greg Miller for coming in sick. Tried my best on that one.
You came in on Wednesday?
Yeah.
Did
I was here for the
this?
Batman Arkham Origins or Batman Arkham Shadow stream.
That must have been Tuesday. That was Tuesday. Yeah, your whole week.
I think that was Wednesday.
Yeah, because I was not in on.
We've had a lot
whatever
of fun
day you
this
came
week.
in.
A lot of great content.
Yeah, I mean, it has been a
I've
fun
watched
week.
it all, too. It's been great.
So, like, for you being at home, how much FOMO do you get? Is it a thing where it's like, oh man, I wish I could be part of this conversation. I wish I could be part of this stream.
My main man, Blessing Adioye Jr., came back from New York Comic-Con hosting the secret level panel, and that's my dude right there. You know, I'm always cheerleading on your side. And was I mad that I missed out on that conversation to praise you and hear all about the awesome stories? Yes, right? Now we're coming into the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 launch day. It's launch night. Your boy Stomach Mike, not 110%.
But
not
you're still
where
here,
I want to
though.
be.
You're here.
Because it's launch day.
Come on,
and I
we're gonna
wouldn't
play
miss
some Call of
that.
Duty.
You know that. I wouldn't miss that. And, you know, I see my best friend, Andy Cortez, playing Alien Isolation with Nick Scarpino. Am I jealous of that? Yeah, I want to be there. You know what I mean? I want to be the third person on that couch. But I've been dying. So I'm back now, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you were concerned, and I appreciate
Did
your
you
concern.
figure out
Thanks
what
for thinking
happened
about
to
me.
you?
Life.
Fair enough.
Well, Bless, went to a couple of raves and probably got something from the raves. I'm gonna be honest
that
with
makes
you.
sense.
Went to a couple of raves, some crazy shit. There was the After Burn Decompress. That's Burning Man. After Burning Man, people come to different spots and they have another rave party. to
You for
decompress.
sure caught something there.
Well, then the next one was I went to Zed the following night, and Zed was mayhem. Zed was like a lot of young adults vomiting in trash bags, sweating on each other. That was the party. So I think Zed, great concert, audience. We got to clean it up a little bit. Mike got sick from the audience.
That's one of the ones where you got to get vaccinated like the week before you do all that shit.
You got to be thinking about
That's crazy. That's nuts.
But man, was that show good. He played Zelda. He has this Zelda remix that you would love, Bless. I sent it to Tim. It was fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Zed's got the bangers. If Zed comes to your town, you go see Zed.
I mean, now that you're back and you're walking, it looks like you're as close to healthy as you can be without being 100%. Are you doing anything for Halloween weekend?
Bless, as you know, it's my favorite weekend of the year.
Do I know that?
Some
I don't think
would
I knew
say
that.
it's the sexiest weekend of the year, and I encourage all of you to go out and have some fun. No matter where you live around the globe, go out with your family and friends, go trick-or-treating with your young ones if you have some, or if you're a young adult, go party responsibly and have fun. And I encourage all of you to get outside and
I'm
have a
staying
good
home.
time.
My
Will I
plans
be
got
attending
canceled.
the Freakers Ball at State Line, Nevada? Be ready. Possibly.
The Freakers Ball.
Yeah, the 45th annual Freakers Ball is happening, and I love going to the Freakers Ball. I'm a big fan of it. I've worn different outfits to the Freakers Ball over the years, and so we'll see what I bring in this year.
Mike, you just told me about how you went to the Afterburner event.
Yes.
The post-Burning Man event party, and then you went to Zed.
Yeah.
And you fucking partied with people that were fucking vomiting in baskets, and now you're going to the Freakers Club?
The Freakers Ball,
That's kinda
yeah.
fire, The Freakers honestly. Ball?
I mean,
It
it's
looks
the
kinda
biggest
fire.
party of the year.
The Freakers Ball sounds like a place you shouldn't be at.
This is where you need to be, okay? It's the sexiest weekend of the year. Everybody should be out having fun. Please party responsibly. Have a great time. Where will you be?
I had plans. My plans got canceled because
Okay.
somebody got sick. Not you, but like somebody else
Yeah,
got
yeah,
sick.
of course.
And so I'm just going to stay home. I'm going to play some Metaphor. I'm going to finally finish Metaphor.
I'm not happy with that because you promised me that you were going to dress up as a Fallout Shelter Pip-Boy
How
boy
long
out
ago
there.
was that? Because I feel like those were...
Well, you were riding the high off the Fallout TV series.
I was going to say, that was like a plan I had like 4 months ago or something.
And so, like, you promised me, and I was like, oh, that's so exciting. Like, to see Bless in the blue and gold, that's going to be a fun time. And then you've betrayed me now. You've lied to me.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
Because I've been trying to figure out what my costume was going to be when I did have plans. And my plans with my friends were going to be like, oh, man, we're going to do a group costume that evolved into doing, like, the Winnie the Pooh characters, but, like, I'll be a sexy bunny from Winnie the Pooh, which I didn't like that. I'll be honest. Not a fan of that idea.
Well, you should always have some bunny ears in your closet. I have a pair.
I don't know if I need to.
No, it goes well with any outfit. I think it's a good outfit.
I don't think that's for me. But
okay.
It went to that, and then I was like, going back and forth with one of the friends where we were like, oh, we can be Cosmo and Wanda, and like, but it's just we ran out of time, and then they got sick, and so it's not even happening anyway. But in the midst of all that, I was going through my closet and trying to figure out what costumes I had, because I had Miles Morales and then like the Spider-Man outfit, and looked at it. It's all torn up. I worn it twice to 2 different like fucking parties, and that shit is worn. I had like a Peter Parker Spider-Man spider suit, and I'm like, I don't know, it doesn't fit right anymore. Like I got it when I was like, I guess a little bit skinnier.
You're so swole now.
I guess so. The push-ups are like fucking up my
See, this is the year you should be going out, because you've been working on your fitness. You've been looking great.
Here's the thing,
and like for you not to go out on the sexiest weekend of the year, really disappointing.
Because I was thinking about this a couple days ago on my way home. I was running out of time because I'm like, man, I got all these plans. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to go to Spirit Halloween or whatever. Realized that DoorDash has a DoorDash option for Halloween costumes.
Got you covered.
Yeah, from Party City and from Spirit Halloween. And I was like, what could I wear that's sexy? What could I wear that maybe shows arms? And I was like, what if I found a Dragon Ball Z costume? What if I went as Goku?
That'd be sick.
And I found one. It's like
sick.
$50 for this Goku outfit. Looked at it and was like, like I like the idea of showing the arms, but here's the thing: it's not like my arms are the most impressive. My arms are fine.
Okay,
I don't
know about that. They're looking pretty good.
I'm not pierced. I'm not Paris Lily out here.
Okay,
well
that's you in 7 years. You got to put in the work.
I'm not that. So it's like cool. Like I could show the arms. I could, and then it's the other thing of, if I'm trying to find a sexy Halloween costume, do I go with the anime option? Because I feel like, I don't know. I don't
know. Goku's pretty sexy. You got the orange and blue trim on it.
Goku is a pretty sexy.
You're going to have your chest out. People are saying shirtless Miles. It's like,
but nobody knows what that is.
You were in a video game. You're an icon now. You should be all over that. Yeah,
then I have to explain it, because then it's like, well, who are you for Halloween? Oh,
you'll have the mask on.
Well, yeah, but I'm going to be like, oh, well, okay, I work at a company, and a lot of music is playing, and dancing is happening. Yeah, I work at this company. It's a small independent company, 11 people, and we have
No, we don't say any of that.
And, like, I was in a video game as a shirtless guy. It's a whole story. I'll tell you the whole thing.
Just so you know, we're in the club dancing, and we're going to be like, what? What? You just say I'm sexy Miles Morales, and they're like, oh, that's crazy. But that's all you say.
Then they don't get like the whole like spirit behind the costume and the lore behind it.
There's no spirit needed. That's the post game.
Why go with shirtless Miles Morales and nobody knows who shirtless Miles Morales is? That's my guy right there. I want to honor shirtless Miles Morales. I don't want to just use him for sexy points at a club. You know?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
And also, you're overrating how I look shirtless.
You I don't know if you've ever fantastic.
I don't know if you've ever seen me shirtless.
Bless, I'll continue to gas you up. You are doing very well. Stay on the fitness journey. How about this? If you skip this weekend, which I'll be very disappointed in you, you have to make a promise that next year, because you're going to continue this fitness journey, you will go out and party hard for all of us here in the studio and have a good time.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, deal.
Listen, it's not over. Also, I know Halloween is on Thursday, so there's a chance I could go out that Thursday.
You always party the weekend before.
I know.
It's a rule.
I know.
It's a rule.
It's such a bummer.
You always party the weekend before. As much as you think, oh, the 31st, this and that, it's never that. It's always the weekend before.
Partying on November 1st sounds disgusting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, that's not right. You can't be in the Hollywood spirit.
Yeah. But what about a Thursday? What about Halloween on Thursday?
Yeah,
let's go out.
No, it's a family time.
Yeah,
because
I'm out next Friday anyway.
The issue is that everybody's already partied so hard the Saturday before, they don't bring it like they do on weekend 2.
Exactly. That's
everybody
what people
knows.
Are playing metaphor.
Weekend 1 at Coachella, they bring it. Weekend 2, people are zapped out. They don't got it like that.
All right,
you always bring weekend 1.
Maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'll
it's crazy, Bless, that you distracted me with the sexiest weekend of the year because I wanted to talk a little sports with you before Kind of Funny Games Daily.
You got time.
So I'll give you the quick rundown. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 60 Seconds of Sports with Andy Cortez's best friend, Snowbike Mike. As many of you know, I'm a huge Oakland Athletics fan. Thank you, Roger. I know. This week, a.k.a. today, starts off the big MLB World Series against the LA Dodgers and the New York Yankees. We're all very excited about that. Ohtani versus Judge. So many players involved. Coast to coast. This is what everyone wants. We want the Yankees versus the Dodgers, the two iconic logos and teams and franchises battling it out. Now, should they have played already earlier in the week to keep the excitement? Yes. Are they playing today? Of course. If you're down in LA, good luck on that 35-minute walk. I hope you're safe. I hope it doesn't suck. Don't know if you saw that, Bless.
No.
Parking is pretty tough down at Dodger Stadium. So the city of LA encouraged all the residents and people that are going to the game to walk, like a 45-minute insane walk to and from
That's
the game
nuts.
that would take you to a train station.
God dang, dude.
Just get a bus, okay? That's what I'm telling
get like a
people
shuttle.
out there. Just get a bus.
Find a good podcast for that walk.
That's crazy.
You'll survive.
Now,
But yeah, that sucks.
following that, Bless, of course, we saw history. I don't know if you tuned in.
Otani?
No.
Okay.
Well, that happened.
Yeah.
But now we're switching gears to the NBA. History took place on Tuesday night. I don't know if you saw,
The
Bless.
WNBA, right? Or are you talking about NBA?
We're talking about father-son.
Oh, you're
We're
talking about LeBron.
Bronny and LeBron.
Okay.
Beautiful moment. Second quarter, JJ Redick made us wait the whole entire first quarter to get these two finally on the court together. They sub in at the desk together, walk on the court. Beautiful moments.
That's pretty sick.
Have you seen any of these highlights?
No. Are they good? Is it hype stuff? Is it worth watching?
They have a beautiful moment where LeBron taps him. He says, "You see the intensity? You just be you. You have fun out there. You just play your game. Don't worry about it." And it was like one of those beautiful moments. You're like, "Oh shit!
When are we gonna get
Oh shit!"
Mike, is that something you aspire to? Do you want it to be like Father Mike and Lil Mike Jr. on the mic talking about video games, playing Call of Duty together on stream?
Man, that would be cool. No, I'm looking more forward to Mike and baby Ben, Coach Mike and Ben growing together.
Okay.
I'm really looking forward to coaching all of his little league games from baseball, soccer, football, beyond,
Hell yeah.
and then having my own kids. You know,
Little Uncle Mike
yeah.
out here doing his thing. I love that.
I got one more for you, Bless.
What's that?
Talk a little bit. One more sec.
Oh no, he's dying. He's dying.
Now, here's the deal, Bless. I don't know if you know, but our Lake Tahoe Night Monsters took the ice last night
Night
for the first
Monsters.
ever time.
That's the name of the
Our
team.
official pro hockey team up in Lake Tahoe.
The Night Monsters.
The Night Monsters.
That's sick.
Roger, bring up a logo. It's awful. Awful logo. Awful name. Fuck, I'm dying.
Is it you choking on your on your latte here? What is this? Yeah, it's a chai latte.
They took the ice for the first ever time last night, Bless. Exciting stuff. Kicking off the franchise.
It's like a dragon in the logo.
Yeah, this is the AA team for the Golden Knights from Vegas and the Henderson Silver Knights. Tim Tebow put a lot of money into it.
That's awesome.
Took the ice for the first ever time. Scored a goal in the first 7 minutes. The place is erupted. Everybody's excited. They go down 3-1. Come back in the third to make it 3-3 to go to overtime.
Hell yeah.
Place is on fire again. I'm dying.
Yeah, did it
I'm
go down
fucking
the wrong
dying.
pipe? Is that what? Because it happened mid-sip of this chai latte.
No, it's just the throat. Roger fucked me up last night.
Yeah, it's fucking
Blame
Roger.
Okay, well, you gotta add more context to that.
Just say, get to the end of the
Roger
story,
fucked up
and
my
you'll
throat
take a
last
break
night.
while I do
Somebody
the
get
rigmarole.
fucking Tim or something. They go down to overtime. 3-3. We're on defense. Guy shoots the puck at the goalie. No pressure, no nothing. Goalie's panicking, trying to find it.
No.
Guy puts his stick in there. Our team puts his stick to try to help him. Mayhem in the net. Puck goes into the net. Own goal to lose. The home opener, franchise opener.
Dude, that's my worst nightmare. That's why I hate playing as goalie when we're playing soccer. Because I'm like, one day I'm gonna get an own goal as a goalie, and I just that anxiety alone kills me. Because I want to be that guy. I'm like, it's safe to pass back. It's say like, listen, we got this thing on lock. But yeah, that sucks. That's fucked up.
There was
Damn.
no need.
Hate to see it.
There was no need to make a bunch of pressure. There was nobody around them. No need to start poking. Just let the guy figure it out. Let the guy do it. No. Touches it, goes in, own goal.
Hate to see it. Damn. Well, there you go.
We're gonna
Fucking
make it.
Tahoe New Dragons. Oh, you got some halls. Damn, had those on deck. Look
Yeah,
at
there's
that.
on deck. Thank you, Roger. Grab me a quick tissue as well.
Yeah, grab my tissue.
But like, Bless, I'm happy. Thank you for the sports moment. A lot of great sports.
Yeah.
Hockey, football, basketball, and baseball all going on right now.
Yeah.
Perfect sports moment.
Hell yeah. Well, think about that. All right, marinate on them sports while I transition us into something that matters. That's video games. Remember, this is Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or on YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free. Just him blowing his nose in the background. Watch us record them live and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, submit your thoughts and opinions as YouTube Super Chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. We're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get the GAMESCAST, which is going to be our Call of Duty Black Ops 6 review so far. And then after that is Game Showdown, an off-season episode. It's going to be a fun kind of feudy with the regular cast. And then after that, we're streaming some more Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I say some more like we streamed it before, but we're going to stream some Call of Duty Black Ops 6.
What did you think of Madeline Stanley's off-season Game Showdown episode?
Kind of demented, like kind of fucked
All
up.
about Mike.
Yeah, kind of
Well,
fucked up.
you got me.
Oh,
like out of all of them, you got me, Bless, because you knew it. You knew me.
There are a few things that I wish I like. There are a few things where once I heard the answers, I was like, I should have known. It's Mike. I should have got the answer. But I was also upset with you because there's no SSX on the best soundtrack or the most memorable soundtrack. And I know that's a fuck up on your part.
Yeah.
I know if you thought about it, you would have been like, oh, SSX deserves
You know,
to be
the
here.
audience went wild over that one. And I want you all to know that I took that as no research, give you the answers right off the dome, is what I wanted to give to Madeline Stanley. There was no, spend 20 minutes marinating on this, Google my best soundtrack. It was just straight up, here's 5 right off the dome.
Yeah.
So that's what you got.
And what you thought was Chained Together deserves a prequel.
Yeah, how'd they get chained together? You know what I mean?
You know what? You're asking the good questions.
The only up kid, if you play the game, tells an insane story about his parents. It's like, okay, well, why don't you show me that? You know what I mean? Prequel.
I don't know if you understand what a prequel is.
Prequel.
Like,
Prequel.
But if you're making a Chained Together that takes place before Chained Together, it's just going to be more Chained Together. You're not going to get more. You might get like a little bit more story, I
How'd
guess.
they get chained together?
They're not gonna. It's not gonna turn into a visual novel all of a sudden.
Could be.
It's not like they're making a movie. This guy's insane. This guy's a madman. Of course, if you're a Kind of Funny member, you can get today's Gregway. Also, thank you to our Patreon producers, Delaney Twining and Carl Jacobs. Today are brought to you by New World Eternum, Phasmophobia, Marvel Snap, and Shady Rays. But we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 5 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Starting with our number 1, Black Ops 6. Thank you, Roger.
I forgot that button does. I
I
forgot the button does that. I thought it just transitioned. I gotta be honest.
It's funny because that took us 18 minutes to get to the story number 1, and yesterday was a whole thing because me and Gary took like 19 minutes.
Oh,
so you're
nice.
knocking on the door. You almost broke Gary's record just then.
You know what? I got a nice text message from Gary Witta early this morning saying Call of Duty Zombies, and I said, damn, Gary, I'll let you know when I'm free.
Hell yeah.
He's in.
We're going to talk about Call of Duty because story number 1, Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass by up to 4 million subscribers, but at what cost? I'm pulling from Wesley Yinpool at IGN. Black Ops 6 comes out today, October 25th, and it does something no other Call of Duty game has done before. Launch straight into Game Pass. Following Microsoft's $69 billion acquisition of Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard, the pressure is now on its gaming business to deliver. With that in mind, Xbox boss Phil Spencer has decided to take the plunge and release Black Ops 6 as a day 1 Game Pass game, albeit restricted to the Ultimate and PC Game Pass tiers. This is a momentous moment, not just for Call of Duty, but for Game Pass, which has struggled for growth in recent years. Latest official figures put Game Pass subscribers numbers at 34 million. That's 34 million paying subscribers across console, PC, and cloud. Indeed, Microsoft removed its $1 introductory Game Pass trial just weeks before Black Ops 6's launch, as it did with last year's Starfield. Further evidence after recent price hikes and tier changes that the pressure is now on for Game Pass to make the absolute most of the power of Call of Duty. Will it pay off for Microsoft? In interviews with GamesIndustry.biz, analysts predicted Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass subscriber numbers by between 2.5 million and 4 million. However, analysts also predicted a significant impact on sales of Black Ops 6. Call of Duty is usually the best-selling game of the year, but there is now a big question mark over whether it will achieve that record once again with Black Ops 6, given it's available as part of Game Pass. Wedbush boss Michael Pachter told GamesIndustry.biz that putting Black Ops 6 into Game Pass could result in up to 6 million lost sales, based on the idea that 25% of Game Pass subscribers might have bought the game anyway. Countering this, Pachter said Game Pass could swell by between 3 to 4 million subscribers. This is a perhaps expected shift, but is it overall better for Microsoft and Activision? The theory is that getting more players through the door than ever before, even at the cost of sales of the game, will eventually pay out because of Call of Duty's lucrative live service, which is fueled by premium battle passes and costly cosmetic packs. Microsoft may be playing the long game here, even though it risks negative headlines about Call of Duty sales being compared to previous years. Mike, for quite a few years now, as the Activision Blizzard acquisition has been happening at Xbox, you, Paris, Gary, Greg, all of us have been talking about what is Call of Duty going to do for Xbox and what is it going to do for Game Pass. Now that we're at the day of launch, right? Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is now available on Game Pass. Where are you at in terms of how this is going to impact Xbox and impact Game Pass?
Yeah, so where are we at right now? The excitement's high, Bless.
Yeah.
Right, we're talking about a full package Call of Duty. Not what we've gotten last year. We are getting the full campaign, zombies, multiplayer, of course, included with Warzone and the big ecosystem. So I think the excitement and anticipation is high. Where will this net out, Xbox? I think only positive, truly and honestly. I don't think we'll see massive numbers on Game Pass, right? I think this is going to be like a 3-year trial of put it on Game Pass, see how it grows, how does that affect microtransactions and sales, and really see this. I don't think you can judge it off of day one. This is going to be like a 3-month window that you and I have to look at of, hey, from now until January, what was the excitement level for Call of Duty? What was the Game Pass engagement? I think all in all, though, it's going to be a positive, right? Now you have people who are like, I've played Call of Duty every single year. I don't want to spend $70. You can get those people on the fence or who weren't on the fence to at least jump over and join in the fun because you know the Call of Duty audience will be there regardless. PlayStation, PC, they're all buying Call of Duty. They're on that yearly cycle. They're going to jump in. I think Xbox now has that benefit for their players of, hey, you have the option. You can buy it for $70 or you can jump in on Game Pass if you have that or if you want to sign up and save some money. I think it's only positive, Bless.
Do you see people on PC going more the Game Pass direction, though? Because that is an option for them, correct?
No, we've talked about that, Bless, right? Like, you can jump in on Game Pass PC, but we've talked about how stubborn that Steam audience is, especially with the story we'll talk about later with Prince of Persia and that Ubisoft launcher, right? Like, it is tough to get people off their launchers, right? Especially Steam. I'm a person who loves their Steam launcher. I actually get most of my Xbox games via Steam because I just don't want to go to that Xbox launcher. Now, would that save me money? Would that use my Game Pass more effectively? Of course, but I think a lot of people are so ingrained in their launchers that they're not going to jump off of that. But it also invites more people on that PC side of like, hey, if you don't want to spend $70, you can download our Xbox launcher, you can jump in on Game Pass PC, and boom, now you're playing it. So I think it's only going to be a positive on that as well.
I think regarding the fear, right? This last paragraph, I think, is fairly interesting because I don't know if I agree fully where it talks about, right? Like the Microsoft may be playing the long game here, even though it risks negative headlines about Call of Duty sales being down compared to previous years. I think that's not as big of a worry because you mentioned PlayStation and you mentioned PC, and I think those audiences are still going to show up and buy Call of Duty. This year, we're not getting Call of Duty on Switch, right? But that's the thing that's been promised for the future.
Yeah, that will be in the future.
And I think when we get to there also, that's going to bolster sales as well, right? It might not be a fucking 6 million sales on Switch or Switch 2 or whatever, right? But I think that's still going to be adding to the pot. And I think the fact of the matter is that Call of Duty is such a juggernaut that even if you see a sales dip, which I'm so fascinated to see what that number is. I wish they released like the accurate numbers. I don't know if they do for Call of Duty because I wonder if it is, we're losing out on, what, 1 million sales?
Yeah.
2 million sales? 4 million? Like, where is that at? Because, I don't know, Call of Duty has been so established for, God, what, like, maybe like close to 20 years? If I'm going back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare, right? Like, it's been decades at this point where people are buying Call of Duty year after year after year after year. And I think they have built in that cadence so strongly that I think even if people know that they can, like, pay for a service or pay for Xbox Game Pass or whatever, I think you're still going to have the large majority of that group of people still showing up to buy it. Yesterday actually, Barrett shared with me a link from Circana, who are the people that used to be MPD. They track video game sales month to month and year to year. They put up a page that was video game sales, the top 20 video game sales for every year going back to 2000. And I started perusing because, of course, I fucking love numbers.
I gotta see the numbers.
And I'm like, I fucking love like lists like that. And so I'm like, all right, let's see. And I'm playing a game with Bear, or I'm like, all right, Bear, let's go to 2004. Let me start guessing the best selling games of 2004. And to my shock, right? Like obviously Call of Duty is typically the best selling game of every single year in the last decade and a half, with exceptions like when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, right? Or when GTA 5 came out. Those are off years for Call of Duty, right? It ends up getting number 2. But I was shocked to even see like fucking Call of Duty, like I think it was Call of Duty 2 or Call of Duty Finest Hour is like on those top 10 lists in like the top 5. And it's like, dude, Call of Duty before even what you think of as the prime, as the rise of it dominating year to year, even back then was still a force to be reckoned with. And I don't think that's changing. I don't think those box sales numbers are going anywhere.
No, we've proven in the live service market that we currently live in that it's not only about the sales of the game itself, but also what else can I get from that player, their time and investment. And I think when we look at previous sales years, right, Bless, Call of Duty, we'll call it in the top 4, right, usually up near the top. But like, what is a hit to Call of Duty? If it's in the top 5, they're going to follow up with an article that says microtransactions, though, are up 300%, right? Because we have a larger player base, we might have taken a hit on sales itself, but the microtransactions are now even higher because more players are jumping in. And I think the big thing for Call of Duty is just to continue to stay the cultural zeitgeist that it is, which is the must play every single year.
Yeah.
Your goal is to keep the foothold that you have in this first-person shooter market at the top every single time. That's why they haven't backed off that yearly strategy, right? Because they don't want to leave any room for anyone else to come in and steal your time and your players anytime, right? That's why you got to stick on this yearly cadence, in my opinion, because the moment that you get off of that, now I start to find another game and I invest my time into that and I stick with that longer and longer, and it becomes harder to pull those players back. I think that's why Call of Duty with Game Pass now, and also being yearly, now inviting more people in, you're just continuing to establish, hey, we are the top dogs and people are going to stay here and be a part of this. And that's where they want to be.
Do you think by the end of this year, is Call of Duty the number 1 selling game of the year?
Well, when we look back, what are going to be some other big titles, right?
That's the issue. The one other big one is going to be college football. I think college football is I was going to say surprising. I don't think it's surprising if you're paying attention, but it is like oh man, this is a juggernaut. It's the best-selling football game, I think, was the news story yesterday.
Yes, I saw that.
Since like 2007 or something like
that. So that puts it at number 2, right?
Yeah.
But like for us to make this a big, like, oh my God story, it's got to be in the 5 to 10 range, right?
Call of Duty.
And even then, they're still making a ton of money off of microtransactions. So it's like, I don't think that's a big, awful story. If you were out of the top 10, then we'd talk.
I think there's a 0% chance that Call of Duty ends up in the 5 to 10 range. I think no matter what, it's top 3. I think.
So what else is beating it out besides college football?
I think college football and then maybe Black Myth Wukong.
Oh,
I think those are the two only other games that have that potential.
Okay.
I would like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth seems like it underperformed by Square Enix's standards, so I wouldn't even put that in there. I'm trying to think what are the other big like hits of this year. And when I'm thinking of that, I'm thinking of something like Dragon Ball, but I don't think Dragon Ball is touching Call of Duty.
The audience offers up Helldivers, but that was only on PC and PlayStation.
Yeah. Power World. How did that do in sales?
Power World, I think, succeeded off of Game Pass, but also probably sold well. It had like 20 million players. It was some crazy number like that.
Maybe because Power World has the benefit of releasing back in January, February. So I think if anything, maybe you see that come into their favor when you talk about that top 10. So I saw somebody chat say Dragon Age, no way. Somebody chat said Balatro, I don't think there's a chance.
So what is it to be seen? The industry to say this was a failure. If it's not 1 through 5. If it's 5 through 10,
if it's 5 through 10, I think you have a problem. I legitimately do think you have a problem.
You think you have a problem?
Yeah.
But what if the follow-up is, hey, the microtransactions, though, are through the roof, and then essentially it would have been evened out? You know what I mean? Like, because that's where we're going to get you.
I think for Xbox and Activision, you want both. I think those box sales, Call of Duty still needs to be the dominant force when it comes to premium boxed video game sales. Because when you have, I don't even know, again, I'm just throwing numbers out because I actually don't know how much Call of Duty usually sells in the first 3 months. But let's say if you sell 25 million, right? And you're selling that at $70 a pop. If that comes down to somehow 15 million, I think as Xbox, you're looking at that and going, fuck. Like we could, like, I think there's a lot of money to be made there, and I think you can have your cake and eat it too as Xbox. I do think that, I don't think there is a reality where Call of Duty doesn't see the top 3 this year, and I would be surprised if it still isn't number 1.
Okay.
The only thing that I think could knock it down really is college football. Outside of that, I think in terms of looking at it as a failure, I think realistically, the place where they can slip up, and not even slip up, I think the place where they might miss out on capitalizing might be the microtransactions and the post-launch and like,
interesting.
Because I think when you're talking about bringing it to Game Pass, that is the thing that I think that's where they have the potential to keep people in.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just about the first month or the first 2 months of subscribing to Game Pass for Call of Duty. I think as Xbox and as Activision, you want people to stay subscribed for as long as they can, and Call of Duty should be their linchpin in that. Call of Duty should be, hey, month 1, boom, you get the launch, you get this, you get that. Month 2, boom, here are these big updates, you get this, you get that. Month 3, we're putting, I don't know, Doja Cat's in there as a skin. like what are the things? Here's a bunch of new maps. Here's this.
Yes.
Here's that. Obviously, you know, game dev is hard. You're not gonna have new maps come out every fucking month or anything like that, right? But I think it is going to be more on the post-launch content side to keep it, like, to really capitalize on what this can be financially for them.
Well, that's the positive for Call of Duty is they have Warzone, right?
Yeah.
So they will follow up in 3 months with Warzone of having, of course, a new map, then hopefully have Verdansk come back in the spring. So you have these pops that Warzone being the free-to-play product, but also part of the umbrella where it says, oh, well, you could level up your guns even faster if you have the multiplayer, which then you would go, oh, shucks, I got to re-sign up for Game Pass, or man, I should have bought that game, right? So they have you on this hamster wheel of you're always in the ecosystem and you want more. And yeah, it's tough for any of these live service games to follow up and keep us on there, right? Very few games after 3 months, you go, I'm invested fully into this because they've nailed the content wheel, right? Like we know Call of Duty will come out 3 months from now. Here's 4 new maps, right?
Yeah.
And you'll go, okay, that's cool, but does that get you enough to come back? But having Warzone and having the pop of Verdansk, I think, will bring a lot of people back in the spring. So I would say that I think this year they have it pretty locked down with what's going on. I also want to give a little side note. Pretty impressive that Call of Duty, one of the few full-priced first-person shooter games that we see in the market anymore. Yes. Right? Like we've now moved away from this shooter genre being full-price titles.
And that's why
a lot of these are like
that is why
access.
I put so much emphasis on that like box title or like the, you know, the premium sales of Call of Duty, right? Like having people pay $60, $70 for that. Because again, this is to have your cake and eat it too thing of, yeah, Call of Duty is the only ones that can get away with that. And I think that is such a luxury for them. And if you can do that, like, let's keep that up. Like, let's continue to maintain those sales. Let's continue to push like, oh no, you want to pay $60, $70 for these things. And then of course, as Xbox players, hey, yeah, you got Game Pass. Come over here. And I think you can balance that in a way where Call of Duty still it ends up being number 1 or number 2 year to year.
Now, I will say Call of Duty and Game Pass, Call of Duty does not carry Game Pass. It carries it for the first month to 3 months, but Xbox has to be wise on putting follow-up titles to keep you in the ecosystem. Me, Paris, and Gary, and you've seen it before, we've seen this every single year now for the past couple of years from Xbox. They have a very quiet spring into that first 6 months of the year. They've done it where it's like, oh, there's one game, then there's no games, and then we wait till the holiday period. Team Xbox here has to follow this up come January to March with another good hit. They need to follow that up between March and June with another one. They need to get us on that cycle of a big hit once every 3 months to keep you invested in that, or else you're going to be like a lot of my friends. Oh, I sign up for a month. I turn it on and off when I want to, because that's what they've become right now, is they don't have enough of the supporting cast from their first parties to justify you keeping that on for a full year. And that's where they're struggling. Call of Duty is going to carry this for the first 3 months. Easy. Till January, you best believe Game Pass and Call of Duty are going to be surging. It's after that, how do you follow up and what are those games? And Xbox has struggled putting those games out to justify you paying $22, $25 a month. You've got to hit that. Got to figure that out.
Yeah. I want to bring in some super chats. A lot of you guys are super chatting about this, so thank you so much for that. Lightning Black says, looking at Halo's decline has me worried for COD. I mean, I do think it's a little bit apples and oranges isn't the way to put it, but I do think that Activision has built something that is more established right now for Call of Duty as opposed to Halo. It feels like Halo's been trying to find their footing for a while as far as like what does a modern day Halo look like in this ecosystem? Like, they tried Halo Infinite was free to play, right?
Multiplayer was
multiplayer. Thank you. They tried that with multiplayer for Halo Infinite. They had it on Game Pass. They did all that stuff, but I don't know. I think I don't look at them as equal necessarily in this scenario.
They were equal a long time ago. One, Call of Duty is much bigger than Halo now. Like there was a moment a long time ago where those two intersected and Call of Duty became the juggernaut that it was, and Halo stayed the same. Unfortunately, Halo this past cycle tried something different with what they wanted to do. And unfortunately, they couldn't keep up with the live service. This is the platform for 10 years that they wanted. We saw that. And that team learned from that. Now they've had to restructure. They've rebranded as well. Like Halo has to become something different the next time around. So yeah, I wouldn't compare Halo and Call of Duty at all. We've seen Call of Duty the past 10 years show that they are number one for a reason.
Bam 255019 writes in and says, what price increase on Game Pass would stop people from getting in? It seems all services are increasing their prices every 6 to 12 months. Mike, at what point does Game Pass become not the best deal in video games?
I mean, probably anything past now. It's already up there where it's scratching the surface of too much plus. Because when you add in Game Pass, plus Netflix, plus Hulu, plus Disney Plus your ESPN Plus, there's way too many subscriptions knocking at your door. And like I said, there's going to be people out there that say, Mike, I love the value that I get from Game Pass because I get so many other games. And then there's other people who say they don't give me enough, right? I'm here for that first-party content lineup. I want those games because maybe I'm playing it as a secondary option, right? I'm on PlayStation. I sign up for Game Pass because I want the Indiana Joneses, all these other games that are first-party, day and date on the service. But I think right now we are getting into a territory where it's getting too expensive, and we haven't seen that family Game Pass plan yet, where like that was getting people excited of like, oh man, maybe we'll cut costs and share with our friends and our homies of like $5, $10 a month, and we can get back to that. Because we had a sweet spot where it was like $10 a month. You're
That's
living
good.
well on that. Now you're like 20 plus, and you're like, oh man, this is tough.
Yeah. No, I had the thought this week of, I remember years ago redeeming a code for like a year of Game Pass or whatever, and then I woke up in a cold sweat like a few nights ago, and I was like, am I still paying for Game Pass? Am I paying for it? Because like they fucking raised the price, and I'm not really playing that much on Game Pass nowadays. And so I'm like, man, have I been wasting money? How much am I paying? Like, am I good? But yeah, like I do think that it's gotten to the place where I'm not even as confident calling it like the best deal in gaming. It probably is. Like I want to look into it.
It definitely still is. Yeah, because of the game library that you get. It's not just the first party titles. It is the partnerships. It is the 200 plus games the moment you sign up. So like it is still very much the best game service out there, because you look at other ones, nobody else is bringing it like that. So that's the catch. But there's getting a dollar amount where it's like, okay, well now you're towing the line here.
Listen, I had Gary sit down with me yesterday, and he was like, yo, Apple Arcade, though.
Which was crazy. I listened to that, and I was like, nobody's brought up Apple Arcade for like 20 plus
I was like, damn, you're making me want to try out Apple Arcade. This might be like the low-key
I haven't heard anybody bring up Apple Arcade in a while. That's awesome, is right.
I got another one from, man, I have so many super chats here. Ooh, man, what do we want to talk about today? Foxy Steve writes in and says, COD makes more money off of microtransactions rather than individual purchases of the game. I think this will be the case of a game being more lucrative via Game Pass because of that.
Yeah, well, that's what we talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, we will see that, right? And it has proven that since the release of Warzone, Call of Duty has been on the insane rise of microtransactions.
Oh, yeah.
And the numbers we see at the end of every year where it's like, it made $1 billion, crazy numbers, right? Like, it will do that again, and it will be even higher this year for sure. But it comes down to what do you release, like you brought up, Bless, right? What's the premium battle passes that people get excited about? What are the skins? What's the goal here? But really, it doesn't matter about any of that. It's the content that brings you there to then spend, right? So like you have to come out with the new Warzone map, which we know, Planet 99 or whatever that one's called. It's off the top of my head. And then Verdansk, hopefully with the return of that in the spring. So like those are big pillar moments to bring in a large audience and then hit them with the microtransactions, right? Then content updates. Hey, multiplayer's getting 7 new maps. Okay, we're back. We're going to buy the Snoop Dogg skin. We're going to buy the A-Train skin from the boys. Like, they already have a very good storefront and, like, skins that they sell. It's about the content to bring people back and buy that.
Planet 99.
No, it's not Planet 99. What's it called? Chat will know. It's the new one that I played at Call of Duty.
I was going to say, because that sounds cool. I was like, Planet 99 sounds That's like this is me who's only watching Dragon Ball nowadays. That sounds like some Dragon Ball Super
No, it's not
shit.
playing. It's something 99. It's something 99. It's the Nuketown creation facility. What's that called?
Area 69?
No, Area 99.
Area 99.
Okay.
Oh.
Area 69.
Sorry, I got excited.
insane.
Oh, that's cool. I love Nuketown, dude.
Oh, dude, super cool. So this is the location that creates the Nuketowns that they send around the globe.
So it's like a factory.
So there will be
type
a
thing.
mannequin factory. There will be like the homes being built.
That's
it's really
pretty
cool.
cool.
It's a really cool. It's actually a very fun map. It's a good map.
Damn, that's awesome. That's like some like Portal shit.
We'll
feel
play
like.
it soon.
I'm down,
We'll
dude.
play
I'm
it
down.
soon.
Let's
We'll
do
play
it.
soon.
Let's move. Oh, actually, I want to take one last look at Super Chats because again, you guys are riding in with some fire in here. I
Oh, keep it
appreciate
coming.
I appreciate it. This is from Dexter. I refuse to let Mike get away with saying you should always have bunny ears ready. I don't know about that.
You should always have bunny ears.
Because what are you
100%.
using them bunny ears for?
Myself, maybe others. Who knows? You should always have bunny ears. And it's a quick costume in case you need one. Like, I'm lucky because I was the mascot, bless.
Uh-huh.
So I always have the Panther suit in the closet. So I can be Sex Panther at any moment. So, like, if you need a quick costume, you should always have bunny ears in the closet just in case. Maybe you have, I don't know, just different outfits just in case. You never know. You never know when the
Why do you
moment
have a
strikes.
Panther suit ready in the closet.
Yeah, full Panther outfit.
What? You can't. There's no way that's real.
Just so you know, Blitz,
There's
I have
no
it.
way that's real.
I'll bring it into work on Monday.
Please don't.
Amador Lopez writes in and says, Musical Poppy, have you listened to the Warriors concept album from Lin-Manuel? I have, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it actually came out the day I landed in New York for New York Comic Con.
Yeah.
And so it was the perfect timing where that then became my New York soundtrack.
Oh, cool.
Granted, I need to go back and listen to the full thing and read the lyrics because honestly, I kind of missed out on a lot of like the actual story of the lyrics because there's just a lot of exposition happening.
Yeah.
Musicals can be tough for me on first listen. I kind of need to go back and re-listen and catch the things I missed and all that shit.
Of course.
But I only listened to it once because every time after that, I just kept going back to the first song. The first track off of Lin-Manuel's Warrior concept album, which is like an insane sentence to say, but the first track is fucking insane.
And this isn't Warriors the movie.
It's based off of the same thing.
Warriors the movie. It's based off of Warriors the movie. He made a soundtrack.
It's Warriors, yeah, turned into a musical.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Warriors the
Okay.
use, I believe, is based off a book.
Okay.
And so I don't know if like the musical is based more off
I'll
the
keep
book
an eye
than
out
the
for that.
movie.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
didn't know that.
It has all those characters, hanging out with Cleon and Ajax and all them. It's pretty cool.
Oh, man.
They got Lauryn Hill on there. They have Nas on there. It's
Shout out.
crazy. It's crazy.
Shout out.
Let's move on to story number 2.
Oh.
Overwatch 2. Actually, no, let's not move on to story number 2 because we're getting late in the show. We should transition actually into an ad because, of course, if you go to patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, you can get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode is brought to you by Phasmophobia. The genre-defining horror game is finally coming to consoles on October 29th, 2024.
What did you see? Okay, never mind, we're coming. Hello?
That's right, just in time for Halloween, the phenomenon that is Phasmophobia enters console early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S with full cross-play supported across the platforms. Join the already almost 20 million players on Steam, including our very own Snowbike Mike, and get ready for some spine-chilling ghost hunting with up to 3 friends. Making sure you work as a team and utilize your equipment is key to making it out alive. It's almost time, Ghost Hunters. Phasmophobia is finally entering early access on PS5, PSVR 2, and Xbox Series X/S on October 29th. Wishlist now and prepare for the terrifying ghost hunts that await.
This episode is brought to you by New World Eternum. New World Eternum is a thrilling action RPG experience for console and PC players with a vibrant world, vast and beautiful setting, dynamic real-time action combat, and the freedom for players to choose how to forge their destiny. Combat is skill-based and dynamic, incorporating swords, guns, and sorcery so that you can build one character to rule them all as you explore Eternum and unravel the mysteries of the supernatural island that you can't leave. You love playing RPGs alone? You can in New World Eternum, or play cooperatively with your friends as you complete quests, get better gear, and level up. Greg played this at Summer Game Fest on PlayStation 5 and was caught off guard by how much he enjoyed it and how many hours he said he could see himself sinking into the final product. There's boss fights, cool enemies, crossplay, resource gathering, and crafting. So yeah, this sounds like a Greg game. New World Eternum is available now on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. This episode is brought to you by Marvel Snap. Y'all know Marvel Snap completely took over my life when it burst on the scene 2 years ago. I love it so much that I even mentioned it in my wedding vows, because to this day, my wife Gia is so obsessed that she has not missed a single day of completing her daily challenges. Marvel Snap is an award-winning collectible card game that combines deep strategy, a unique snapping mechanic, and your favorite Marvel characters with thousands of unique card art variants created by renowned artists to collect and use. Each game only takes about 3 minutes, so you can get in and out wherever you are. And with more than 270 cards in Marvel Snap with over 2,000 unique art variants, you'll always find some new fun. Marvel Snap just celebrated their 2nd anniversary, and to say thank you, they're throwing a party. Boosters, credits, variants, borders, and more are all up for grabs just by logging in daily, starting on their anniversary, October 18th. Download the Marvel Snap app now, available on the App Store, Google Play, and Steam, or visit marvelsnap.com to learn more. This episode is brought to you by Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium, polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers an unrivaled product that's just as good as any expensive pair that we've worn. Y'all know I've been outside in the sun a lot playing Pokemon Go, and it's such a great experience wearing Shady Rays when I am out and about looking dope. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Exclusively for y'all, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal. Head to shadyrays.com and use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Again, shadyrays.com, use code KINDAFUNNY for 50% off 2 or more pairs of shades.
And we're back with story number 2. Overwatch 2 is officially bringing back 6v6 in testing this December. This is Umar Shakir at The Verge. Blizzard is bringing back 6v6 matches in testing for Overwatch 2 when it launches its next season in December. The company had previously switched to the series to a 5v5 format, and Blizzard is now trying these tests to find out how it can make the core game even stronger through a balanced new version of the classic 6v6 mode that lets each team have multiple tank characters once again. Game director Aaron Keller says Blizzard knows the 5v5 format appealed to and brought in a new group of players, and developers are hoping to repeat that success with the addition of 6v6, which won't replace current formats. For a detailed write-up of what's changing, you can read the full director's take over on the Blizzard website. Mike, I don't think I've ever been more disappointed.
Because you're my Overwatch guy. Like,
Yeah.
you and Andy are my Overwatch guys, along with my boy JD. JD plays still.
And this is one of the conversations I think would be interesting to have with Andy, because I think me and Andy are probably on 2 different sides of Overwatch 2, even though I think it's interesting to see how the internet has reacted to Overwatch 2, because of course there's that base that still plays, that is still involved.
There will always be a base.
There's always going to be that base, and in fact, I have a friend group, my friend Sarah and like her friends that I've joined, where they do weekly Monday Overwatch.
That's great.
That I've started to do, and it's like, man, Overwatch is still reliable for me. I can still come back, still have a great time. That said, I don't think I ever needed Overwatch 2. Like, the big changes for Overwatch 2 were going to be the campaign, single player content stuff, and I think there's like been a big portion of that's been cut, and then the switch to 5v5, right, and this new format, this new way to play, and it feels like it just at the beginning it didn't feel like a big enough jump for like a number 2 title, and also now it feels like they're reverting back to a lot of the things that made Overwatch 1. Like, I feel like the main thing now is the graphical overhaul.
Yeah, I mean,
which wasn't even that crazy.
This is one of those when a game goes on for so long, right? It's nearing a decade in length now. It's like you're gonna have missteps, you're gonna try new things, and so it is understandable of like they're going to try and they're going to change things and then try again. It has to do that, right? That's what a game, when it goes on this long, is going to see and do. I think as a casual audience like myself, it's like, oh, this is a game struggling to stay relevant, right? Like, there's a core fan base, but the larger fan base has moved on to other games. They're excited for Marvel Rivals, which is a big problem from Overwatch because it is Overwatch, right?
Yeah.
And so like when Marvel Rivals comes out, there's going to be a lot of excitement for that. Does that maybe make people want to go back to Overwatch, a game that they know, and play that again and get that love again? Or is it, hey, this is the nail in the casket for Overwatch, I'm never going back?
Is Marvel Rivals 6v6? I think it is. Chat or kindoffunny.com/.
I think it is 6v6.
Because I was wondering, that's one of the things I was thinking about as I read this news story this morning. The fact that they're doing this in December, which is when Marvel Rivals comes out, it is 6v6. Because I wonder if that's them being like, shit. Like, this is actually one we got to worry about.
I don't think 5v5, 6v6 is that big in the grand scheme of like the general get the audience, right? I think you're appealing now to your like core audience and trying to get them excited. But like when we're talking about, hey, we got to get the kids from Fortnite and Call of Duty and Apex to come in here, I don't think 5v5 or 6v6 changes that at all.
Yeah.
It just comes down to the excitement of the game and do my friends want to play it? Are the kids talking about it at the lunchroom? I don't think they're talking about Overwatch anymore.
Yeah. I don't envy what they have to do here also.
Yeah.
Like, balancing Overwatch sounds like a nightmare. Like, they've been doing it for, since 2016. It's been 8 years since Overwatch came out. That's crazy.
Hey, you're coming up on a decade. I'm
That's
more interested of like,
crazy.
when do you stop?
Man,
when do you slow down Overwatch and now look at each other and say, we are going to make the true Overwatch 2, or we're going to move on to something different than this?
That's my thing is I think Overwatch 2, what I would have wanted, and granted, it's a risk if you do this either way, but what I would have wanted is for them to go, all right, Overwatch 2, we're refreshing like everything, right? New character roster, new maps, like we're truly making a sequel that it has different content, but it's the same core type of gameplay, but you're getting a new experience through new characters and new maps, like a fighting game.
Would what they have right now, we'll call this the core content, be good enough if it was complemented by a true single player or 1 through 4 PvE campaign? If that was the goal of like Xbox and Blizzard came together and they said, hey, in the next 4 years, I want you to make a true Overwatch campaign, because hopefully that will be so exciting to the core players and the larger audience that know the game and the world that they're going to come and then they're going to come back to the core content.
Would it be exciting though I know core Overwatch players would
I think
love
it would
that.
be.
But I think back to like the weekly game nights or whatever, right? And I'm like, those people don't care about a single player campaign. Like,
Interesting.
I think there are so many people. Yeah, I think the audience that's playing Overwatch for the most part cares about that, like hanging out with the friends and playing the modes that are in there and having the multiplayer experience. I'd be down to play a single player mode, but I think even for what we've gotten out of Overwatch and like their limited time stuff in the campaign style stuff that they've tried, it's not been. For me, that stuff's not hit at all.
Roger.
One of the things that, after reading Jason Schreier's book, Play Nice, that they mention about Overwatch and its developments was that, of course, originally came from Titan, which was the canceled MMO that they had. But the vision for Overwatch was to do Overwatch 2 that had PvE, and then eventually do like the Overwatch MMO. Right, like that was kind of like the idea. Of course, things changed and things, blew up with Overwatch 2. So I'm assuming they won't do that. But that to me seems like such an interesting idea, is them taking this universe and being like, no, fuck it, that's going to be our next, big universe that we're going to try to make an MMO out of.
When I think of Blizzard titles, I think of the long lineage of these titles and how long they stay and the worlds that they craft and create. And I think Overwatch is one of those where like we're not going to shelve Overwatch and all of a sudden be like, hey, Overwatch 2 and Overwatch, it went on for a decade. We're going to move on to the next shooter, right? Like, I think that has so much love and like the world that they've built, the characters, that if you were to create a single or co-op campaign, that would get a large audience to come, right? Like, I don't think you just can't end Overwatch, I guess, in my mind. It's a very weird world that we live in of like, I personally think you end Overwatch because the multiplayer's run its course. It's time to move on to something new to get that player base back. But at the same time, that's a tough world to leave because it is so strong of an IP that you need to create something that will bring the juice back to it.
Yeah, and that's why I look back at fighting games, which I know are a different thing. Obviously, Overwatch is aiming for like a more live servicey, like literally like a live service audience. doing multiplayer like 5v5 or 6v6 is different from like a 1v1 fighting game. But one of the reasons why I love coming back to a Tekken or to a Street Fighter, to a Mortal Kombat, is when I get that new game, it is, all right, who are all these new characters that I get to try out? All right, what are the new abilities in this one? Oh, how have they changed? What are the new stages, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. And I feel like that I Overwatch 2, and I said this when we first reviewed it, right? Overwatch 2 didn't feel like an Overwatch 2 to me. It felt like an Overwatch 2.0 update. Like, this is the biggest update that we've had. We're pushing things forward or whatever, but it didn't feel like a sequel. And if that's the case, right, like, I think we're barreling towards that place where, yeah, they're gonna have to sunset Overwatch eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like, I could see it in 4 years maybe, where they're like, all right, we're done. Like, we're not doing Overwatch
It will
anymore.
either come to that, or you build off of the IP. And if you're building off of that, you have to make a single player campaign that you kind of promised and got people excited for, because that's what Overwatch 2 was going to be. That's what drew people there. And I felt like that was also one of those moves of like, we are losing the space in this shooter genre where everybody wants to talk about us and play us, and we need to get back into the mix. And that was our goal to get there, but we didn't do it, so they pushed us back out the circle.
Let's move on to story number 3. Giant Sparrow, who you know from What Remains of Edith Finch and The Unfinished Swan, they've teased their next game. This comes directly from a blog post on their website titled Our Next Game. Our next game is still in early development, but the focus is on exploring the wonders and horrors of biology. He plays a field biologist studying both mundane and fantastical urban wildlife. We're drawing inspiration from places like Eco, Windowsill, Spirited Away, and David Attenborough nature documentaries, along with the spirit of early animators like Winsor McCrae and Walt Disney, who used cutting edge technology to build something that didn't feel technical at all, but instead felt weirdly alive. The game hasn't officially been announced yet, but you can find a bit more about it in this interview we did with NY Times in October 2024. When we're ready to show off more of the game, we'll announce that on Twitter. Here, Roger has some images pulled up. Interesting stuff. Were you a What Remains of Edith Finch?
No, I've
person?
actually never played any of the titles from this team. I read the New York Times article. I'm very excited for this.
I was not expecting you to say that you read the New York Times.
I signed up for New York Times, so shout out. You got me on that one, unfortunately. But I read it, and it got me really excited because I like the thought process of what this team is bringing, especially as someone like me who loves the games like Subnautica. I was high on Zoocosis, right? I like these weird job
being high on Zoocosis sounds like a crazy
so
high.
on Zoocosis. I'm one of those guys that really loves the job simulator games mixed with like the discovery games mixed with like animals. And so like I think of a game like Flock, right? I don't know if you played Flock where you were flying on the bird and your goal was to go take photos and learn about other birds in the world, right? I adored that. And so the idea of like what could be this weird idea of like weird animals that we know, but also they're kind of mutated and freaks, and like what does that look like? How do we have a crazy nature doc about that? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in on this.
I think you would dig What Remains of Edith Finch.
You think so?
Oh yeah, it's a really, really good game. It's one of the best like walking simulator type games that I've played. Really cool story.
Okay.
And I think this team has the stuff. And yeah, they've only put out, I believe, 2 titles as a studio, Unfinished Swan and What Remains. Both of them really cool, right?
Okay.
And yeah, the way they describe this next game, I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. I'm a big Eco fan as well. And so if you're gonna take inspiration from Eco, you got me. Oh God. Them name dropping the David Attenborough documentaries. I'm like, okay, damn.
That got me excited.
Yeah, I'm like, this sounds really cool what you're doing here. So I'm looking forward to it.
This one, you know what? You got my eye. I'm interested.
Roger, I heard a Sonic ring and whatever that was.
Oh, is he
what
watching
is that?
Sonic?
I was just setting up stuff for Wii News. My bad.
Oh no,
Oh,
that's fair,
okay, cool.
Story number 4. Baldur's Gate 3 publishing director says Ubisoft's sub above sales strategy isn't sensible. This is Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Following Ubisoft's widely criticized disbanding of the Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team, the publishing director of Baldur's Gate 3 has taken to Twitter to add his view, saying that Ubisoft's publishing strategy just isn't sensible. In a post spotted by PC Gamer, Michael Dowse said of Ubisoft that the last notable game on his platform, the Ubisoft Store, was arguably Far Cry 6 in 2021. Quote, "The Crew, Mirage, and Avatar came in 2023 and didn't perform, so you can assume subscriptions were at a lull when Prince of Persia released by 2024, which means people wouldn't be launching their store all too much. If it had released on Steam, not only would it have had a market success, but there would likely be a sequel because the team is so strong. It's such a broken strategy. The hardest thing is to make an 85 plus review score game. It is much, much easier to release one. It just shouldn't be done as it was," end quote. Dallas is likely referring here to the fact that at launch, the Lost Crown required players to have a Ubisoft Connect account to play it on most platforms. Though there are workarounds, Ubisoft has pushed its own account, launcher, store, and subservice fairly heavily over the last several years. What's more, on PC, The Lost Crown was only available at launch through Ubisoft Store or through the Epic Games Store. It didn't make it to Steam until 8 months later. Quote, if the statement that gamers should get used to not owning their games is true because of a specific release strategy, sub above sales, then the statement, quote, developers must get used to not having jobs if they make a critically acclaimed game, platform strategy above title sales, is also true. And that just isn't sensible, even from a business perspective. And once again, that came from the same dude from Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know how I lost his name. I lost his name here somewhere. Not Michael Dowse. No, Michael Dowse is the PC gamer person. It was Cromwell, I'm pretty sure, on Twitter. Mike, does this make sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think we can compare that to Xbox's strategy, which has always been, this has been a supplement. You can always buy the games first. You don't have to have the sub, right? I think the biggest one, we've talked about that. You guys covered it during Kind of Funny Games Daily about the Lost Crown Prince of Persia story, but this was a bad move from the start of trying to push people onto your own launcher on PC. You should be going to where the players are. You should be on Steam day and date. That was a great game that would have been even greater and had way more love and praise if it was everywhere for everyone to go. Because it is way too difficult to get people to come off of where they're going all the time, their ecosystem, to come and play a good game, even if it's great, right?
Yeah.
That's just a tough sales pitch there. Ubisoft is in a weird lane right now. You guys have been talking about it. We've been covering it. The audience has been talking about it. They have some incredible titles and IP that we all know and love. They make strange decisions on not bringing back IPs that we know and love. They have games like Beyond Good and Evil 2 that are just existing out there that we all question what's going on, right? They're making very interesting business moves where it's like, hey, maybe you should drop that sub and team up with Game Pass and partner with them and get a check and just put the game on Game Pass, or partner with PS Plus and go get that money from there. You should be putting your games everywhere day and date because you have good titles, right? Like Assassin's Creed is gonna sell. Far Cry is gonna sell, right? They have the staples there where you know they're gonna hit. Then there's other ones where they try something different, like Prince of Persia Lost Crown, where it's like, oh my God, you made a great game like that, and then you hit it somewhere that nobody now plays. So that's a problem. We saw that with Xbox as well, with, of course, the game you love,
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush as well. Weird business moves. Talking about a game of the year contender, game that everybody loves, and you're going to disband it? What are we doing, you know?
Yeah.
Odd moves.
And self-correction, Michael Dowse is the dude. It's funny, I see him on Twitter all the time, and like I was trying to think of what his actual name was. It's because he doesn't have his actual name on Twitter. It's just at Cromwell, and then like his username is very AFK. And I always know him as like the Baldur's Gate dude, because like he works for Larian Studios, right? But I was like, what's his actual name? And I wasn't expecting it to be Michael Dowse. And so shout out Michael Dowse. I'm sorry I forgot your name or didn't know your name. But yeah, it's everything you just said, right? It's Ubisoft. And we talk about this all the time with Ubisoft, so I don't want to like sound like a broken record, but they just have a weird way of doing things, and it feels like they've been in an experimentation phase for like 5 years. It feels like they've been trying to throw shit at a wall and seeing what sticks for years now. And this is one where, to his point, I even think about the fact that, yeah, like if you are releasing this on PC exclusively on your store and on Epic Games Store, right? Like how many people are actually on the Ubisoft store perusing? Not that many, because yeah, like what are the reasons to go to the Ubisoft store? Assassin's Creed, the last Assassin's Creed game before Prince of Persia Lost Crown was Mirage, which is not one of the bigger launches. He listed other games here too, but right, like he said the biggest one in recent years was Far Cry 6. And if I'm thinking through it, right, I'm trying to think of the other big, because I'm like, there must be bigger games since Far Cry 6 from Ubisoft. Not. You don't think there is?
Since Far Cry 6, big staple titles? No, I mean, besides Assassin's Creed. But other than that, no. You're not going to tell me that.
Was the last Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or before Mirage, was that Valhalla?
Yes.
It must have been Valhalla.
It was.
Yeah. And so it's just, the last Avatar game. That's a good point.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't call that big. I mean, it was big, but that's not big. That's
it should have been bigger than it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's a game that should be a big game that didn't feel like it was when it came out. So, yeah, like, you kind of put it on the store to fail, right? Like, you want it to be in a place where people are already looking. You want... If I'm releasing a game, it is a dumb analogy, but I'm going to make the analogy, right? If I have a box copy of a game that I want to sell to people, I would rather have it on the shelf of a Best Buy than have it at my garage sale.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't expect everybody to fucking know where I live and walk by and like have the 2 people that walk by my house be like, oh shit, you selling this? It's like, no, put that shit on Best Buy, put that shit at like whatever, put that shit at Walmart, put that shit at whatever store that people are gonna see it. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown should have launched on Steam, and I'm glad they're changing this to see more games launch on Steam from Ubisoft. But I digress, Mike.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. They just got so big and so much love early on. If you think years ago with Assassin's Creed and Far Cry, and there's one other title in there, the Tom Clancy games, right? It's like they just were so big that they are kind of up in this world where it's like they're not supposed to be there, but they're there now, and now they're trying to make decisions that like something bigger would be making, but they're not there anymore.
Yeah,
it's an odd moment here that we're seeing with this team, but they have games that we're gonna come and play. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows, we're gonna be there.
Yeah,
you best believe we'll be there.
I feel like we should have been there for Star Wars Outlaws, and it feels like Star Wars Outlaws
should have been there for that one.
Ain't. Yeah, it seems like that ain't doing the thing it should be.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that it seems like Ubisoft has had like an Epic Games exclusivity deal where so like, and that's ending this year, so that's why Shadows is going to be on Steam. So it just seems like unfortunate timing, which of course it should have been on Steam, but it just doesn't seem like they were able to.
You also got to remember, Big Epic was coming around with their own launcher, and I'm sure they were throwing around a lot of money to say, hey, we need help to establish this to try to get people off of Steam and onto our own launcher. And Fortnite, as strong as it is, isn't strong enough. So like, hey, we cut you a big check. You give us those Ubisoft titles. And they're probably like, yeah.
How about you be on our platform and let us sell your games?
Bro, that was sick.
Thank you, Roger.
Guy.
Listen, that was a big swing I took. But Mike, if I wanted something small, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
Blessing, you'd go to our last story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Story number 5. It's time for Wii News. Sega announced that Sonic Cross Shadow Generations, which was released today, Friday, October 25th, has surpassed 1 million units in worldwide sales. Salute.
Blessing and Roger, I want you to know I brought this up earlier in the bullpen. This might be my first Sonic game.
Fuck
Wow.
yes.
Okay, I've dabbled a little bit in my day. I've tested a couple. I once one of those cute little animals that you save out of boxes. I had a Chow Garden once. I think this might be the Sonic game I really try.
This is what I'm gonna say.
You might have got me.
In chat, fucking write this shit down. All right. Mike's gonna become a Sonic sicko.
Yeah,
Mike has the latent Sonic sicko gene within him. I can see it in his
And you
eyes.
know
Am I
in
a
his
Tails
heart.
guy?
Yes.
What pendant am I buying?
Am
I a Tails guy? Am I buying the Tails
You're gonna be a
pendant?
Tails guy for sure.
I
You
might
know
be
this
a
is going to be in his top 10. You know this is going to be
Just so
top
you
5.
know, Mike, 2024 and beyond has been stepping out of my gaming box. I'm stepping out. I'm gonna play Sonic.
Like, you have such Sonic fan energy. I'm
gonna
and I
buy
don't mean that in a bad way. There's something there's a light in you that I think allows it.
We should do a stream where we try to S rank levels and like go back and forth and see who can win more and like do a race. Like
Put it on the
split
calendar.
screen race.
Put it on the calendar.
Mike and Roger play Sonic.
I like
love
that.
it.
Next up from IGN, Netflix has renewed its animated series Tomb Raider: The Legend of Lara Croft for a second season, just weeks after the season's debut.
Hey, that's sweet. I watched episode 1.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it. I am a big Tomb Raider sicko, as you know, with
Yeah.
Game Showdown. My favorite 2 movies.
I think that's how I learned.
Yes,
You like
I
Tomb
really
Raider.
like Lara Croft. It's crazy that Greg was like, Mike's never brought up Lara Croft. When I brought him this message from who's the cool people that do like the really cool video game collectibles that Jared Petty worked for?
Oh, Limited Run?
Limited Run has a
think
Tomb
he still
Raider
works for them,
collection
but
coming
yeah.
soon. And I was like, please, Greg, I would really like this. Can you somehow help me get this? Because me and my mom used to play this when I was a kid.
Did you play the last few Tomb Raider games?
Yeah, those were sick, bro. Those
Would
were
never
sick.
have guessed.
Oh, yeah,
Would
bro.
never have guessed.
Tomb Raider.
From VGC, Romero Games has added menopause leave, clothing allowance, and other worker benefits in 2024 as the company celebrates its 10th birthday. Happy birthday, Romero Games.
That's great.
From Noble, PS5 retail version of Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, and Resident Evil Biohazard launches December 6th, 2024 in Europe, launches December 26th in Japan, and January 2025 in North America. And then finally, Dragon Age the Veilguard review is coming Monday on the Kinda Funny Gamescast. That's right. Tune in this
Wow.
Monday, Kinda Funny Gamescast, for our thoughts on Dragon Age the Veilguard.
One of the biggest games of the holiday. They're going to give you the review. That's a big deal.
Hell
That's
yeah.
exciting.
That's the Royal
Okay.
Our thoughts also. I'm not going to be on that. I'm not touching
Blessing's
it yet.
not on that. he
Yeah,
says.
but
okay.
the crew's going to be on it.
The
Greg
crew
Miller,
will be on that.
Andy Cortez, maybe more people. I don't know. I don't know who in this office is playing.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's your
maybe
crew.
more. Probably more people. And that's it for Wii News. Man, you guys are killing it with the super chats.
Thanks for the super chats. I missed you, chat. Just want you all to know that, listeners and watchers out there, I've missed you a lot. Thank you for the love and support. I've
Bear
missed you.
King 08 says, "What up, KF crew? I'm on a vacation cruise. I'm glad to catch a stream today."
That's sick. Would you ever do a cruise?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, you'd do a cruise?
I gotta learn how to swim though. I still don't. I'm 30 years old. I don't know how to swim.
Let's go up to Tahoe. It's easy. It's safe.
What, you want me to learn in the lake?
Yeah, because the lake has like such big shallows that we could walk out to like chest deep and beyond. It's not like
You know they got pools here.
oh no, we don't learn in the pool.
I can learn.
Then you got to deal with chlorine.
Why are we doing high stakes learning how to swim?
Nah, we go up to the lake. I'll teach you.
And then Kaiser and Sky says Sparking Zero definitely finishes top 3 in sales. I wish we had more time.
Top 3 in sales.
I wish we had more time in this episode because I would love to do a prediction for what the top 5 selling games of the year are
Yeah,
gonna
that'd be cool.
Because I think Dragon Ball is top 5 1,000%. I don't know
Top
if
5?
1,000%.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Dragon Ball, like that's the thing is, I think people underrated Dragon Ball.
It's good.
People
Bless.
love this game.
It got me. I'm in. I'm
Like,
gonna play all the way through that
At
game.
one point, I'm pretty sure I saw the pre-orders on like PlayStation look like they're above Call of Duty for like a few days.
Wow.
At some like right before the launch of it. But yeah, like Dragon Ball is huge. And it's dominated my timeline.
Top 3, you think?
I don't know about top 3.
Top 5.
Top 5, yes.
Top 10, guaranteed. You think top 10?
Guaranteed top
Okay.
10.
Top 7?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I think the top 3, college football, not in any order, but college football, Call of Duty, and Black Myth.
Okay.
I think those 3 might have the top
Your
3
big
unlocked.
3. Okay.
I think Power World is in there in the top 4.
And it came to PlayStation, so that's even bigger now.
Yeah, and
Didn't
then
see as much of love for that, but I'm sure it was big.
and then I think Dragon Ball is probably in there too.
What about, did Elden Ring come out this year?
Shadow of the Earth Tree.
Yeah.
Do they count
Does
that?
that come in there?
Oh, like Elden Ring, just the game?
Well,
Because I don't think they count.
DLC.
Shadow of the
Yeah,
Earth
there's
Tree.
DLC. I'm just throwing out like big titles that I'm thinking of.
No,
right?
that's a good.
Like, does that come into the mix here?
I think it's top 10. I think
Okay.
Elden Ring ends up top 10.
Like a dragon?
Helldivers 2, not like a dragon, no. Helldivers
Okay.
2 though might. I could see Helldivers 2 and Power World maybe bumping Dragon Ball
Into that
to
fifth
6.
spot.
But Helldivers 2
Gotcha.
also, PlayStation exclusive. Hey,
But
PlayStation
also on
and PC.
PC,
Yeah.
took over the world.
Came out at
world.
the beginning of the
Uh-huh.
year, which is big. Yeah.
We'll see.
That's a tough
I'm
conversation.
excited for that, Bless. That's a good one.
Now it's time for kindafunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong, so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. Speaking of Helldivers 2, Lucid Dream says you quickly dismissed Helldivers 2 as a top seller, but it is currently number 2 in 2024 year to date as of September 30th, according to Circana. There you go. I don't remember. I don't remember dismissing it
Blessing's
earlier,
keeping it in there. He's
but I
keeping
looped
it in
around.
there.
I looped around. All right?
Yeah,
You got
he's
me.
in there.
You got me. Listen, and here's the thing. Jeppo says Blessing Infinite Wealth will sell well. I'm not saying it won't sell well.
Infinite Wealth.
I'm just saying top 10
Yeah,
Rebirth
there's no way.
is lofty. Rebirth, maybe.
Top 10 for Infinite Wealth is lofty?
Yeah.
Okay. Rebirth
I think Rebirth has a pretty good chance.
in the top 10? Yeah, I think so.
It's a tough thing where I don't like Square Enix makes it sound like that shit sold 10 copies.
Man, why are
Like,
they
if you ask Square Enix, they'll be like, yeah, no, this shit sold 20. Like we had a factory full of
I'm
them
reading
still.
these stories. I'm hearing you guys talk about it. It's like, why do they talk so badly about that? That did well.
It's Square Enix, man. They want this shit to sell like Nintendo numbers. They think
That's
they're putting out
crazy.
Animal Crossing New Horizons.
That's crazy.
Also, the thing to remember with top 10s is like there's so many sports games that take up a lot of those spots.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
don't
Like,
forget NBA
NBA
2K,
2K's out,
NHL.
Madden's out. You know what I mean?
That's like
FIFA.
4 to 5 parts of that top 10.
Is it crazy that it's still called
Oh,
FIFA?
yeah,
I'm never going to call it FC.
I'm never gonna call it
I'm
FC.
sorry.
You're right.
And they know that. They know
FIFA,
that.
man, I wish I had time because I would write all this shit down and
Yeah.
do this like a shit list.
FIFA's in there.
Like a long-term
Yeah.
shit list where we check in.
Save it. That we
next year.
should do that.
You should do that for like
podcast.
on Monday. Do a final 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Where you run through like I did with the Snowbike Mike. Get your money.
I'll
out.
do like a
Get your
PowerPoint.
money- yeah,
like
get your
these are
money
my
out.
blessings projected end of year
Yes.
sales
Yeah,
for
yeah,
video
get that,
games
get that.
over the year because FIFA 1000% is going to be in there. Is this what we have currently? All right,
This
let's
is
look.
Circana's top 10.
So this is at
selling.
the end of September.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is in there.
So
Last year's Call of Duty is going to be in the top 10.
There's a good chance it might be. Yeah.
EA Sports MVP bundle, grow up. Yeah,
see,
Elden
look at
Ring's in
this.
there.
How many sports games? It's almost all sports games.
Like, and look, like no Like a Dragon in there. Dragon's Dogma 2 is in there somehow.
That's
talking about two
fucking
was big.
insane.
It was big. You got to remember that was a big moment.
That's going to get bumped down as the
Crazy.
fall goes. It has to.
There's no Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, no. How is there no Black Myth Wukong? That can't be right.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder if they don't report. They probably don't report their sales.
We'll find out.
All right, we'll have this conversation later because I think this is a really fun
Get
conversation.
your money
to
out
have.
with Blessing.
Yeah, get your money up. And then Mara writes in and says Dragon Ball Spark and Zero pre-orders were outpacing Call of Duty on all platforms at one point.
I love that. I like that game a lot.
And then Big Bobo says College Football 25 is the best-selling American football game ever beating out Madden 07. It's also the second best-selling sports game of all time in the U.S., second to NBA 2K21. Really?
They also took it away from us for a decade, so we're just happy it's back.
Yeah, so that's crazy. That's the best-selling football game of all time, but good for college football. I wonder what happened in 2020 that allowed for 2K. You know what? Never mind. I think it just answers my own question. Motherfuckers are
What could have happened in 2020? What do you think could have happened?
Motherfuckers are at home like, yo, I can't
What do you think
I
could
can't
have
even
happened,
play
Wes?
basketball outside.
Exactly.
I'm playing 2K.
I don't want the fucking the bubble dome or whatever the fuck they're doing.
The dome, bro.
And cross-gen support, that's a good one too. It came out on PS5 and PS4 and all that shit. Mike, that brings us to the end of another episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us recording them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the GAMESCAST next, which is going to be our Call of Duty review so far, and the game Showdown After, and then the stream after. But until next time, Game Daily.
Party responsibly during the sexiest weekend of the year. Be safe.